All right, Janice. So this is a really great topic, right? Because a lot of people, they'll be like, well, I've got my 5, I've got my 10, I've got my 20, 50% down. And they don't realize that that's just not it. It's not just down payments that you need to come to the table with as a part of purchasing a home. So what are some of the things like people need to consider as a part of, in addition to down payment? What would it be?
So in addition to the down payment, people need to make sure they're including their lender's fees, title insurance, any escrow fees, recording fees that you owe to the brokerages, and there's a few others that we're not going to get into right now. But we help our buyers estimate this early and sometimes negotiate to have the sellers cover a portion of those expenses for our buyers.
Yeah, so that's all closing costs related, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then in addition to that, we've got stuff like inspection, right? So what's an inspection? $300-$500 roughly, depending on what people are wanting to do.
Yeah, depending on the size of the home, it could be anywhere from $300 to $600.
Yeah, and some things, and you kind of touched on this earlier with escrows and upfront escrows. Like in Michigan, we pay in advance on taxes, right? Meaning the seller's already paid the taxes for however many months, are left until it hits either the winter or taxes. They paid that in advance. So one of the things you need to come to the table with is you need to reimburse the sellers for the taxes that they haven't used yet. Now that's a negotiating point, but that's typically how it's done, right? What would you say number 4 is?
So the HOA fees. So HOA fees can vary from $100 to $500 a month, depending on the subdivision. And you may need to pay them up front during the closing. So depending on how
and that's if there is an HOA, right? If there's not an HOA, then it's not something we really need to worry about. But again, that's one of those things that the seller may have paid in advance. Also, there's trash, there's sometimes water, right? Like these different things that the seller may have paid in advance that you got to reimburse the seller for. So these aren't things that are costing you any additional money, but they do show up as a part of owning a home. And because it's already been paid for, you reimburse the seller back for it. And I'll say just last, and this certainly isn't least, which is when you buy a house, there's like moving costs. Like if you're paying for a mover, if you're not paying for a mover, there's going to be a U-Haul. If there's not a U-Haul, there's going to be gas that you're driving to and from on your with your cars, right? And so there also may be some certain things off the inspection report that you may need to get fixed. So it's not just down payment, I guess is the point of what we're saying here. You've got to factor in all of these additional factors, right? And one of the ways to do that is, one, reach out to your realtor first so you can connect it with a great lender. A great lender can start to estimate the vast majority of these costs for you so that when you do buy a home, there are no surprise fees involved, no surprise expenses involved, nothing that you're uncertain about, so that when the process, as you move through it, is super smooth because all of these things have already been explained to you. Would you add anything to that?
I would just say think about your immediate move-in costs, such as different lock changes, maybe a deep cleaning, maybe you want to upgrade some of the appliances. So even if a home is move-in ready, buyers usually spend a little extra in the first few weeks just getting everything for them to move in.
I didn't even think about the locks. That's such a good point. So if you have any other questions, or go ahead and leave a comment or message, and make sure if you like this type of video from an education perspective, you subscribe to the channel because we've got all kinds of stuff. Janice is getting us up to speed on all sorts of things. So go ahead and reach out. Thank you. Bye.